Hello everyone, I'm just going to show you today how to make an autumn wreath. Mine is going to be super big. I'll show you how big it's going to be because it's going to go on my front gate. But you can follow along and make something much smaller. This is a 10-inch base. It's a copper frame, I don't know if you can just see that, which has been covered in moss. You can get these at places like Hobbycraft, or a florist would sell one to you. They're quite inexpensive, and it's covered in moss. So I'm just going to show you step number one. I use reel wire, which comes like this. It's quite a thin gauge. Can you see that? But you could use string. I find that reel wire binds a bit more securely, but if you want completely compostable, then use string. So all you do is attach your wire or your string to your frame. Quite securely so it doesn't come apart. And then take a handful of moss and attach it to your frame, going over and under with your wire. Get another handful, do the same again. And I'm going to finish that and show you it when it's done. Okay, so I have finished mossing the base. I've gone all the way around with sort of even amounts, like a decent handful of moss all the way around. And can you see that's dangling down? So don't cut the wire or the string if you're using string. Leave that attached. So that is step number one. So step number two is to organise your foliage. So I have got here a mixture of really hardy foliage. The base of moss does not really hold that much moisture. It does hold a little bit, but what you want to do when you're making a wreath is find materials that are going to be really strong. Outside now it's getting quite chilly. I think it's 15 degrees today, but at Christmas, if you were making a wreath, it would be much colder and the foliage would stay on a month, 6 weeks if you make a wreath. This foliage, just to show you for the autumn, are things like heather, privet, eucalyptus, anything like that which is going to hold its texture and its form. Anything that's deciduous, soft, like beech, anything like that would just drop quite quickly. So you need to be careful about which materials you use and make sure they're really strong. I tend to feel if it feels quite strong to touch, it's probably okay in your wreath. But yeah, avoid anything soft, and I'm going to show you how to prepare them. The next step is to take all of your greenery and cut it into roughly the same size pieces. So like that, for example, if I just lay my hand next to it, roughly the length of your hand, and try and put all your different types of greenery together. It will make sense why in a second. So that is all done. And then this little bunch here is left to do. So I'll get on and do that and show you. Next, I've prepared all of my accents and berries. So these guys here, I've bought in this morning from my wholesaler. This is more rose hips that I picked yesterday, and some, look at those guys, orange version, and some nice dried fern. So you can see that now I've got a really good selection of materials to bind to our mossed base. So that's the next step. So welcome back. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take a little bunch of what we've prepared. So in there I've got a little bit of greenery, a few berries, a little bit of heather, and a bit of the dried fern that I picked yesterday. And we lay it onto our wreath. If I just turn that just gently. And then with your bind wire or your string that you've already attached because you've remembered not to cut it off, you're going to go around a couple of times and pull quite tightly and attach your first bunch. And then what you're going to do is gather another little bunch. It doesn't have to be the same. It can be 2 or 3 different bits and pieces. Probably, actually I'd probably say 5 or 6 pieces. And then bind on, just overlapping the first one. So I'm going to do a quick time lapse, and I'm going to put maybe half of it on, and then I'll do some a bit slower to show you. Right, I'm back again. So I'm just going to show you half of it done. So you can see it's got lots of different form and texture. I'm just going to keep going and then I'll show you it when it's all finished. So having gone all the way around with your little bunches, when you get to the end, tuck the last one underneath the first one and then cut your string to about 6 inches and stitch it back into itself so it doesn't come undone. And this is the finished wreath. I'm going to stand back because it's so big, which is a bit lush and it's quite heavy actually. I have got very little foliage left. Of all of that greenery, I will just show you. This is all I have got left over. So to be honest, mine is actually kind of, you know, nice and big, but yours obviously doesn't need to be. It can be as big or as small as you like. I was going to decorate it with pumpkins, mini pumpkins, dried pumpkins and orange slices, but actually I love it the way it is. So all I'm going to do is pop a velvet ribbon on it and pop it on my gate, and then I'll take a photo and you can see. If you like what I've done, please leave a comment. If you've got any questions, leave another comment. And if you want to come and let me show you one-to-one how it's done, I can do that, or you can join one of our Christmas wreath classes if you want to do one of these, but Christmassy. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.